birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the election of Trump and Biden. I said that because I know a lot of people's mind is there. Now I was just kidding you. So tomorrow is the birthday. As per I just checked, the new birth, the new moon birth, and it seems for New Zealand is tomorrow because in Middle East is today. And I congratulate everyone and myself, and I congratulate uh, Imam of Asr, and congratulate of every Muslim and all across whoever who can hear me. And inshallah, we maybe we be able to follow the footsteps of the Prophet in all the good things that he has brought with him in Rahmaniyat. Okay, I hope you don't mind. It's still, I have to, not, of course, this time, I'm not going to take the whole session about some introduction, but there is few more intros I have to say. But remember, I was telling on the way with Nawaf, I was telling him this topic, the most difficult part of this topic, which is really taking a lot of my time for preparation, is how to simplify, because this is very difficult, very high level topic. And people who, just to give you an idea, people who study perfect human, they have already done 10, 15 years of philosophy and irfan. And those are the prerequisites. So you can imagine how difficult it would be. Of course, I seek the help of Allah and the Prophet that he helps me to, but as they say, النور علم يغزف الله في قلب من يشاء. Inshallah, you will get it not from my words, you get it from the angels around in your session. So I want to re-emphasize, this is very important, re-emphasize on fluidity of mind. And we have to put the cliches away. We have heard a lot of things. This time I have categorized what type of cliches we have. You know cliche, right? You all remember. Things that we already think about, we already made up a mind about it. Some of our certain beliefs or our information are totally wrong. Are wrong. We take it as information. Give you an example of, I've given you this example before. 80 years ago, they thought shower is haram and they should go use that old public bath. And also they would say going to his school was haram. Learning geography was haram. I remember a person, this was a movie made on it. A person was trying to explain, it was saying, Haji Agha, if I go from here to Karbala and start to put some pointers on my road, so that people who wants to go to Karbala next time, they know they learn their way. They said, is it haram? He said, no. I said, if I draw this on a map for the people, alaykum assalam. If I draw this on the map for the people, is it haram? He said, no. And he said, Haji Agha, this is geography. Geography is this. So I'm saying, there are, of course, this example belongs to an old, but you will be surprised. I don't want to embarrass anyone, but you will be surprised to know a lot of things that we know is wrong. We think we know it, but it is absolutely baseless. That's one. The other things is some of our very certain beliefs are, as I said, our imagination. We have imagined. I mean, we all have imagination about revelation. We have imagination about sirat. We have imagination about many of our fundamental things in our religion. That's imaginative. So they have to go away. Some of our certain beliefs are superstition. Superstition. They are not. They have come. We take them as a proper belief, but it doesn't hold any substance. Masalan, I was searching to find some examples. 40 days, someone, if you use, you will be surprised to know. It's not for all the Muslims. I'm saying part of the people. If you use 40 days mascara, this has come as a religious belief. Must use, that's for ladies, mascara. What happens? You will find husband easily. No, honestly, I just searched it and I brought it up in a list of some of the superstitions. Or if no, these are just to give you an example, but there are stronger examples in certain religious beliefs which are superstition. You might, I'm sure you all have a lot of them. And if a girl sits on the seat of the bride, she will find a husband early, right? You know that, right? These are not religious beliefs. These are just superstitions. And another, this is about what? Superstitions. There is another type of knowledge that we have is correct, but is superficial. Yani, there is no depth in it, right? All the knowledge that we have about Quran is all superficial. We read, مثلا in Quran, we read, وَمَا فِي هَذِهِ أَعْمَى وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ أَعْمَى. Yani, whoever is blind here will be blind in hereafter. But this is superficial, right? The meaning of it cannot be this. How can it be that we are blind here and it means that, and we are, if someone is blind here, will be blind in hereafter? So that's also another type of a category of beliefs that we have to throw away. And some of other beliefs are emotional beliefs that we have. The emotional beliefs is, for me, is, I have got a couple of examples. One is in when it comes to Muharram and for Imam Hussein Azadari, sometimes maddahan, those people who are trying to make people cry, they just make up things. I'm not saying everything they say is made up. I'm saying sometimes they're trying to make people cry. They say things which is has no substance. And if you go to the book of Shahid Mutari has a book about this very topic, that how this has become a sort of profession and people use it and to make people cry, because the more you make the people cry, probably the more you are invited, and the more you are invited, the more money you might make. So that's one example, and there are other emotional examples that you can think of. And some certain beliefs are habitual. We have got beliefs that we are doing out of the habit. Masalan, I think myself, I'm not talking about anyone else, my salat is out of habit because I have no present conscious in my salat. I'm doing it out of the habit. I can do, it's like driving for me. Yani I do my salat while I'm doing the salat. I can do so many other things and calculations about my business and this and that. And so try to bring fluidity to your mind and do not be prejudiced about things that you learn. That's one. Another things about this is very important, judging personalities. I've said a little bit about it, but I want to say a little more about it. Yani, what do I mean by judging personalities? Yani, in the past, remember publishing book 500 years ago, 700 years ago, 1,000 years ago was not like today. Someone would write a book, then someone comes and borrow, and he writes from his manuscript, and he gives it to another one, he writes another out of it. Or there was another way, like the Amali of Sheikh Saduq, and those people, they used to come and see, they read from their own book in a classroom, like 40, 50 people, they start to write from what he was saying, right? So that way you can imagine how much that is prone to people adding to it. Imagine one book is written, I tell you, a book from Ibn Arabi is written. He has written a book. Someone has borrowed to write from it, and it has gone to 5 hands after that. And for whatever historical reasons, the first 4 copy are lost or ruined or torn apart by some people, right? The 5th version, 5th edition is remained, and that person, that 5th edition, he wanted to accuse Ibn Arabi of something, right? So he has added a chapter to that. He has added a chapter to that so that disrepute Ibn Arabi. So what I want to say is, Ibn Arabi is known in Muslim world as a son, Ahl al-Sunnah, right? But of course, you know that Shia Sunni issue was not like that 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. Today is very different story. But that was added to, something was added to that. When you see, we don't know the truth. I'm just saying how it can happen. You see, Masalan, he has talked about good about Khulafa. But go and read about his manaqib of Ma'sumin. He's got a book. I have read the book of Manaqib of Ibn Arabi. The, the way he has spoken about Ma'sumin, all the 14 Ma'sumin of, of Shias, even Shias consider that exaggeration. So highly respectfully talked about them. But yet he has another place he has talked about Khulafa. So based on that, some people come, pick that out and say, Ibn Arabi's, all his works are rubbish. Right? That's one way it can happen, forging. The other way is sometimes people do tagiyah. Yani they have lived in an environment, they couldn't openly talk about what they believed. So they had to say things that the environment would accept them. So I say that because sometimes I bring quotes, and I know because also I'm talking, it's being recorded. It might go on internet. You might be talked about it. Someone may talk to you about it. You have to learn the proper answer and say, oh, have you quoted? I've told you about the Rumi. Remember the other day I told you about someone, and that was a Shia person, was attacking Rumi like anything. And my point was, how much do you know Rumi? What do you know about Rumi? Go and read Rumi's poetry about Imam Hussein, right? Just because Rumi has said Abu Talib did not surrender to Islam. So be careful about and be able to defend when. And I tell you, the other last reason for uh, being careful about how we evaluate people of scholars, especially scholars, is it is not necessary we think that everything everyone says is correct. Sometimes they don't say correct. Yani 80% of the things he has said is correct, but 20% may be wrong. But how can you totally put away anything? And I said, do you think whatever Maraje say today, 100% of it is correct? Who says that? They have conflicting opinions about things, right? Either when one is correct, so that means the other one is incorrect. Still, both marjas are respected in the Islamic world. So unfortunately, especially I tell you, you're not in those type of news. I just recently, a few days ago, a group of scholars bashed another scholar, Shia scholar, which was very much in the very nice scholar who was in favor of using aql and intellect. And they bashed him, they called him takfir, and he's corrupted. Unfortunately, this was done by ulama, not by ordinary people like us. Unfortunately, that's the Islamic world. And probably this is my last intro about today, is thinking. There are people, Masume knows who I'm referring. Masume knows these people exist because she has told me about it before. There are people that think, they say thinking is dangerous. Have you heard that? You shouldn't think. And I told you that is 3 weeks. This is the third week. I'm having a discussion online with a scholar with 25 years of house studies and a PhD from a West university, that we are having this discussion. Yesterday was the third session, continuing again next week. Interestingly, our topic is exactly about aql and the role of aql in two areas, because in our religion there are in two areas aql has applicability. One is in epistemological issues like philosophy, irfan, that's epistemology, ma'rifat shanasi. The other area which is aql is being used is in legislation, yani in creating ahkam. And I was telling my friend that he was saying you do not need aql for legislation, because legislation is the place of naql. You know what is naql, right? Aql and naql. Aql is aql, naql is narration. Someone said so, Imam said so, Prophet said so, right? This is naql. He was saying this is an area of naql. There is no need for aql. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I said, and I tell you, this is both in Shia and Sunni. Don't think this is particular to any specific sect. They are both word of the Shias and Sunnis. They are very much when it comes to tashri legislation. They don't use aql. But I was telling him, how can you when you read this verse of Quran, What part of your body is thinking to understand that? Is it not your aql? How can you say, Masalan, Imam has said, Masalan, just this, I gave this example. Riba is haram. Baharramur riba in Quran. I said that for that very superficial perception of this verse, it is now that if I have to give $1,000 to you, Nasser, lend you, in a country where the inflation is 200%, if you give it back to me in 1 year, in 2 years, that means you have given back to me $250 in terms of purchasing power. I was telling my friend, how can you accept this? That means if aql was used, the fatwa would have not been if you give money and take back interest on it is haram. The fatwa would have been you cannot take extra purchasing power from the other side. You can, masalan, you give $100, a purchasing power is, let's say, equivalent to gold. You can give, but you cannot get extra purchasing power back. I said, if aql is used, so definitely the foundation of fatwa becomes different. Okay, so I'm saying there are people who believe aql is dangerous and we should not use it, and we should just surrender totally to naql. And I don't have any problem with naql, but again, it is with my intellect that I understand aql and naql, both of them. Salawat, please. Muhammad wa ali. Okay, now going into our main topic. Uh, one more, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of the merciful and compassionate. Remember, the name of Rahman, alaykum salam. One more salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The name of, you know that the name of Rahman, which is mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this name of Allah is a all-inclusive Rahmaniyat, right? Yani, this name is for everyone. Allah has got on Kafir, on Muslim, on Buddhist, on everyone. Rahmaniyat has got that mercy, that compassion is for everyone. That's the effect of the name of Rahman of Allah. But Rahim is for a specific people. One of the areas that, I don't want to go to the whole thing, one of the areas that Rahim is for people of Ma'arif, people who study, they have got the mercy of Rahimiyat of Allah, right? So understanding of the words of Ma'asumin and infallibles, including Prophet, peace be upon him, and all of them, and even other prophets, Jesus Christ, Moses, right? It is not easy. We have to use our intellect. This is, I read a sentence from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. It says, Inna amruna sa'bun mustas'abun. You have heard this, right? Yani our issues are sa'ab and mustas'ab. Yani it's difficult. Sa'ab and mustas'ab is difficult. لا يغر به إلا ملك مقرب أو نبي مرسل أو عبد امتحن الله قلبه بالإيمان. Yani Imam is saying it is not understood and confessed by everyone, except is either malakun muqarrabun, angel close to God. Not every angel, not every angel. Angels who are close to God, Jibreel, Mikael, Israel, uh, and the others. And O Nabiyun Mursalun, O is a prophet. O means or, yeah, or, and a mu'min whose heart is being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to really listen carefully. We have to have a'mal. We have to be we have to have piety even to understand word of Imam. We have to have piety to understand narration, to understand Quran. It all needs piety and taqwa. I give you an example. One hadith. What do you think about this hadith? To say is Sa'ban Mustas'ab. You're entering the very topic. Please, careful. Be careful. I mean, be listening. And I hope I can make it simple enough. كان الله ولم يكن معه شيئا والآن كما كان. You understand it? كان الله would there was a time ولم يكن معه شيء and there was no one with God. There was a time كان الله is using the past tense. There was no one with God. But al-on means just now, still there is no one. What does that mean? This is very sad and Muslims. Yani, what about these universes? Aren't there exist? It infers like it's saying there was a time that God had not created anything. But then after he has created, and we see all the creation of God, it's still al-on kama kana. Still he is with no one, and he doesn't have anyone. So how do we resolve this paradox? This is a paradoxical statement, but it is not paradox if we understand Allah has got different levels. The level of ghaib, ghaibul ghuyub, right? The level of asma'ullah, then the other level of aql, and the level of khiyal, imagination, the level of matter, the level of matter. These are all different levels, right? So in that level of ghaibul ghuyub, kama kana, still in that level there is no one with God. Who can be in that level with God? But the rest of creation you see is in the lower levels. And I explain what does lower level mean. There is a topic. This is one of the subtopics. Please learn it. It's called, in Arabic they call it Hazarat Khams. What is Hazarat Khams? Means the 5 universes. Right? Why they call it Hazarat? Hazarat here can have 2 connotations. One is because it's come from the word hazir, present. These are presents in front of Allah, these universes. And another meaning is universe, being, existence. Hazarat Khams, 5. So let's understand this clearly. The first thing about Hazarat, the first level of Allah is called level of, you all remember this in the past I have spoken about it. Level of Huwa. Huwa is a level, in Quran there are a lot of places that is referred to Allah as Huwa. Yani he has no name, when we say no name, yani no name, no address, no sign, nothing. He is in such a high level, you can only refer to him as Huwa. There is nothing else. You cannot name anything. Masalan, there are in different levels we call Allah Subhan, we call him Qadir, we call him Muta'al, right? These are the levels of Asma'ullah we call Allah. But when it comes to that level of, they call it level of Ama as well in Arabic and Farsi, of course, both will use it. In those ghaib, it's called Qaybul Ghuyub. Qaybul Ghuyub means the hidden of the most concealed state of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So far clear? Understand? Yes? Clear? So that Ghaibul Ghuyub, or exist, which is the highest level, is also referred to. It's good that you learn terminologies, because you might see these terminologies as well. So you better know it. It also called Maqam Ahadiyat Zat, Ahadiyat of Zat. Right? Yani it's the level of Zat. In the level of Zat, no one has access. There is nothing. It just can't do anything about it. You can only say over. And that's one level. A level lower than that level, that's the level of knowledge of Allah and Asma'ullah, names of Allah. Names and knowledge. Knowledge of Allah means knowledge of Allah about everything in creation. That's called knowledge of Allah. That is called, in the different name they give to it. One name is called Maqam Wahidiyat Zat. The previous one is Ahadiyat. This one is called Wahidiyat. Yani why they call it Wahidiyat means all these together are Wahid, are one. But when he's in Ahadiyat means he's Ahad, no one, there is no one with him. Even there is no Asma in that level. But when it comes to this level, it comes Wahidiyat. Yani all Asma'ullah are in this level. I tell you later on how these levels are created. A level below this is called universe of intellect or jabarut. Yani this is a lower level to level of asma. Intellect, which we all know. Masalan, uh, angels are the creatures of level of intellect. Angels are from that realm. They live in that realm. So a level lower than that. How many levels have I said so far? Apart from ahadiyat. Ahadiyat is not part of my level because that part is qaybul ghuyub. I mean, we just know there is something, right? So I've said three, right? Asma, level of asma, level of intellect. No, no, wait. I said the first one, ahadiyat, is not counted because it's so hidden. It's not counted as part because it's just a name for us. We don't know anything else about it. So first level is level of wahidiyat, ahsan. After which is level of asmaullah. The level point over below that is no, aql, intellect. The level below intellect is misal or malakut, right? It's also called malakut. It's called misal. It's called khiyal. That's the names of this particular universe. Khiyal or that's imagery universe. That's imagination universe. It's all to do with images. A level below that is what? Madde, matter. So how many we have? Five, right? Why? No, ad. Wahidiyat, yeah. Wahidiyat. Wahidiyat is one. Aql, alam aql, alam misal. No, okay, yeah, you're right. Four, sorry, four. You're four. Okay, what is the last level? The fourth, the fifth level. Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's not. It's not. It is not necessarily. Hazarat khams, Hazarat khams is not necessarily not that it should be lower. It's another level, but it's not lower. This is called Kaun Jami, yani inclusive existence. Yani all those four existences are in this existence. Maqam, Kaun Jami, the universe of Kaun Jami. Kaun means existence, Jami means inclusive, all inclusive. Yani in that Kaun Jami, there is the level of madde, there is level of khiyal, there is a level of intellect, there is level of asma. You understand? Does it make sense? Not really. See, of course, because I have not ever talked about perfect human before. Okay, all right. No, that's I said you have to have fluidity. Yani now you're facing in something new. See, I said that no, it is not necessarily that because I'm saying the way I was counting the names of the universes, it was lowering, and coming in a lower level of existence. But this one that I said, Kone Jame, is not lower. It is a universe which exists all other universes in it except the Ahadiyya design, encompassing universe. Yeah, yeah, right, right, right. You're right. So that's called Kone Jame. Okay, and Kone Jame, I didn't want to say now, but now that you said it, Kone Jame is insan, right? Kone Jame is human. Human has got all these five or four elements in him, all four universes, right? We are getting closer, right? Closer to the main topic. So I want also to teach you one uh, vocabulary. You have to learn it. It's important. There's a phenomenon, or I call it thing. I don't want to call it anything other than thing. There is a thing called Faiz Aqdas. Faiz Aqdas means the most holy emanation, the most holy blessing, the most holy grace. That's called Faiz Aqdas. Aqdas in Arabic, you know, means the most, استفهام تفضیلی, most sacred. Aqdas comes from Quds. Quds means what? Sacred, sacred, not sacred, sacred. Yeah. And Aqdas is tafzili, means the most sacred. Qudus is one of family words. Yes, you're right. So, Faiz Aqdas is, Nasser is getting bored, I understand. I have to be quicker. Aren't you? I know he's very impatient. I can get your vibe. Your vibe is telling me, come on, Mr. Bassan, please finish this and get on to the main topic. Okay, Faiz Aqdas is the holiest emanation, holiest grace of Allah. Holiest phase is also referred to phase. It's Faiz Aqdas, correct? Learn this. Now, let's go back. Three other things I want you to remember. I've told it before. Three other terminology. You remember I used to say always you start with vocabs, right? You remember? But now I'm saying it vocab during the mic. One is there is something called wajibul wujud, essential being, correct? Wajibul wujud, essential being. What is wajibul wujud? Give me five wajibul wujud, the name of five wajibul wujud. Can you? It's just one. Good on you. Only wajibul wujud is God. Who else is wajibul wujud? Second is contingent being. Essential being, contingent being. Being yani mumkinul wujud. Yani possible. It's possible to become mawjud. It may not become existence. How? For instance, all of us are contingent being. It could have happened if my father married another woman. I wasn't there, right? There was another person. So we are the whole creation of God. The whole creation is contingent being. What is the third one? Mumtani al wujud, impossible being. Examples of impossible being is, for instance, a sea of mercury. That doesn't exist, right? That's mumtani al wujud. Or a mountain of uh, silver. These are the things that are mumtani al wujud. They don't exist, correct? Mumtani comes from the word emtina, impossible being. Meme, double meme, T, noon, ain. Mumtani ul wujud. So you learn this. We will use this later on. I want you to learn this. Okay. Now let's see what is the relationship of all those levels that we spoke. The relationship of maqam, or the level of ahadiyat zat, right? Qaybul quyub, the hidden, the most hidden concealment level, the most hidden concealed level, right? There is that level. So now let's go back to that hadith I read from the beginning. I said from Imam Sadiq, I read, Kana Allahu wa lam yakun ma'ahu shay'a. There was, of course, these are not time based. Was human being has no way other than using tense in his sentences. But this is not about time. This is about a status. There was a time that there was nothing other than Allah alone. Just to make it simple to understand, Allah was lonely. There was nothing else, right? Now, and this level, when we say maqam, level of wahidiyat is the lower level, which is level of asma'ullah, the names of Allah. What happens that level comes to this level? Number one, do you all know what is asma'ullah? Asma'ullah are attributes of Allah. Masalan, we say ilm. Ilm is one attribute of Allah. But ism of this becomes alim. So alim is asma'ullah, ilm is the attribute. Masalan, khalq, creating, is an attribute for Allah. But it becomes khaliq, it becomes asma'ullah. That's ismullah, khaliq. Correct? So when we say asma'ullah, remember we are making a fa'il with the attribute of Allah. So now how would that level of ghaibul ghuyub, hidden, extreme hidden, comes to the level of asma'ullah? There is a thing there. What was that thing? I called it thing. Faiz Aqdas. You remember what Faiz Aqdas? There is Faiz Aqdas which manifests, is causing the manifestation of Allah in that level of high hidden to a lower level, which is level of Asmaullah. What is, but yet what is that Faiz Aqdas? What is it? It's a thing. I call it a thing. What brings that? I refer you to hadith. إني كنت كنزا مخفيا فأحببت أن أعرف فخلقت لكي أعرف. Allah, this is Hadith Qudsi. Allah is saying in the response to Hazrat Dawood, when Hazrat Dawood asked, why did you create the world, the creation? Allah says, إني كنت كنزا مخفيا, I was a hidden treasure. When Allah says I was hidden treasure, He's referring to Ghaib al-Ghayub, to that very low, top level of concealment. فأحببت أن أعرف, I love to be known. أحببت أن أعرف فخلقت لكي أعرف, then I created so that I get known. Okay, here Urafa say, all the Urafa say, I say Imam Khomeini, Ibn Arabi, I've seen all of them. They mostly, Allama Tabatabai, they mostly say Ahbabtu an Uraf means Allah loved to be known, right? I want to say my own opinion about it because I have a different opinion on this particular thing. I separate it because so that you know this is not quoted from them, right? Because to me it's a bit not easy to accept Allah loves to be known. Of course, I don't deny it, but I say I can say a different explanation. Remember, when Allah is not like us. When He wants to create, for us, when we want to create, we have to sit and take time and think, whatever we want to create. We have to think, we have to do a lot of elaboration, to go to a lot of mind process, right? But for Allah, everything is what? Be, kun, fayakun. Be, it becomes, right? And when Allah even doesn't say, because He doesn't use word, He just wills. He wills be, it becomes. And when He wills be and it becomes, what becomes is the most perfect things become. He doesn't have to do a lot of trial and error to find the best way. Immediately the best possible thing is created. So Allah, everything, every creature of Allah, all the creation is in the ilm, in the knowledge of Allah. I say فَأَحْبَبْتُ أَنْ أُعْرَفَ, Allah is referring, he loves those creatures, not that He loves His own. I don't refute this. That's one way. My explanation is Allah loves those creatures because the whole creation works with love. And you can even go back to yourself. The moment you create something, you put a little kid, 3-4 years old kid, give him a pen and a paper. He draws something. He loves it. He wants to frame it and put it on the wall, right? So let alone such ahsanul taqweem, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in His ilm, in His knowledge. He has got such ahsanul taqweem, the best of creation as per Quran. And He wills. So Allah, I say Allah loves His creation. فَأَحْبَبْتُ أَنْ أُعْرَفَ, He wants to be known. He loves His creation so that they know Him, right? So you take both versions. That's my version. And version of other Urafa is they say, فَأَحْبَبْتُ أَنْ أُعْرَفَ is Allah loves to be known. So He creates. Correct? So because of that hadith cans that I just read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this phase aqdas comes, that thing comes. And what is this thing? What is phase aqdas? I say again, I have to say this is my word. I've not heard the Orafa say this. They call it Faiz Aqdas. That's all. I say this thing Faiz Aqdas is the love itself. That Faiz Aqdas is the life itself. Of course, it can be this can be critiqued. I mean, if you say that to a scholar, it might bring some critics. But I believe that thing which is called Faiz Aqdas is the very love itself. That is the love who manifested Allah from that maqam zat ahdiyat which was not known to the level of asma. That was the love, and that was the love who manifested maqam asmaullah to the lower level of what was the level below asmaullah? Aql, intellect. And that was the love who manifested, who made manifestation of, see, every of these levels that you're saying manifest in the lower level. You know what manifest is, right? Let me explain about manifestation. What manifestation is. I'm talking to you, right? These are all concepts. Until and before it comes to my mouth, it's just a concept sitting here. But when I bring it to words, it becomes manifested in words. And you understand it, correct? Of course, it's not very good way of explanation, but you still make some understanding out of it. That understanding, whatever it is a manifestation of my concepts. So manifestation means something being descended in a lower level, yet has got the characters of the higher level too. Yani that higher level exists in this lower level, right? Masalan, say my intellect, my zat, zat, my essence is manifested in my intellect. My intellect is manifested in my imagination, isn't it? Because when with my intellect, I imagine things. Masalan, in my intellect, I think about to make an aeroplane. Then I imagine the aeroplane. What should it look like? Because level of aql is the level of universality. Everything is halat in alam kulli, universal. When you say aeroplane, you are not referring in the level of intellect. You are not referring to any specific aeroplane. It can be any aeroplane. That's universal. But to bring it down, I have to become more specific about it. I have to bring it down from alam intellect to the universe of imagery. Yani I have to give an image to it. It's gonna have two wings. It's gonna have a tail. It's gonna have a body. Right? I'm giving image. So it is manifested in the level of image or alam khiyal or alam misal or alam malakut. And when I go make it and go into bazaar, buy material and make the aeroplane, that it comes to alam madde. That's the way. So that at very top level, aeroplane has become that aeroplane which you see on the ground. Going back to my talk, I was trying to say how every level is manifested in a lower level, and the lower level manifestation has got that top level in it, but it's not at the same level. It's a lower. When it comes from aq to misal is the same, and so forth and so on. Have I made sense so far? Yes. Is there any question? Yes. So when the point is when these manifestations are done, and when so the fundamental issue was here, the element to manifest these are love, that Allah said at the hadith sequence. It is the love who makes this. And when this love reaches to alame matter, material world. This is again from myself. I say that singularity in Big Bang is the energy of love. There is no other thing that can have such an energy. You have heard about Big Bang, right? I'm referring to that. And I tell you this. Why I called it thing? Because no one really knows what is love. No one. And there are so many books about it. There are so many explanations about it. but no one can say it unless he tastes it. Love is something to be tasted. It is not something to be explained, right? Masalan, you imagine that uh, in that movie, El Toro, you remember that? That El Toro, he has got 5 soldiers, right? Bomsi and all those people. And when one of them fall in love with a girl, those other four ridicule him. They don't understand what he says. And then all of them, one by one, they fall in love, and they say, "Ah, now I know what poor Bumsy is feeling." So love is not something to be explained. It has got very mysterious uh, source. It has got very love has got very mysterious texture. No one knows how it is created. And when it comes to material world, you know that these things are very common. A boy sees a girl or a girl sees a boy, they suddenly fall in love. Of course, this love is different from that love, but even that love is a manifestation of that higher love. But of course, 99.9% of these loves are chemical loves. You know that, right? When it comes to love of men and women, it has a lot to do with the being human and the chemical of the human. But of course, it can over the time reaches to a level which is called love. But I have to say, with my apologies to men here, uh, God God's love is more manifested in women, and we men are totally deprived from it. Do you agree? I had taken a note. I want to see from this note. It's beautiful. I saw it today, in fact, and I thought it's appropriate for my talk. Look at this. No, women are, and people have written about it. Women are. They have taken the most manifestation of the real love. Sorry. No, not because of that. Being mother is one of the another version of the love of Allah. Listen to this. He says the only person who understood the women was called William Golding. He has taken a Nobel Prize, right? But listen to what he says. He says, "I believe women must be idiot to think they are equal to men." Right? They say they have always been much over the women. They have much better than the men. You have already heard this, right? Because you're nodding and say you already know about. You are agreeing, yeah. Women, no, I do believe in this. This is a very religious belief for me. No, okay. I'll tell you about your problems later on. don't get so don't get so proud. It says they should be idiot to think they are equal to the men. They have always been higher than the men. And he gives the example. You give everything to a woman, she makes the best out of that. If he says you give an sperm to a woman, he gives a beautiful child, right? He says if you give a place of accommodation to live, he makes a beautiful warm house out of it. You gave a, food stuff material, he creates a nice, beautiful, lovely food out of it. You give to him just one smile, and he gives it back to your heart. You give him one smile, she gives you her heart. So basically, he's trying to say that women, when it comes to manifesting the love of Allah, Nasser, don't be jealous. You agree, right? No, and I can probably talk one. I can talk probably one independent session about this topic. There are books on it, right? Javadi Amoli, Ayatollah Javadi Amoli has written a book called Zan Dar Ayine Jamal. You might have heard that. Women in the Mirror of Beauty. That's the name of the book. I've read part of it, not all. Uh, so basically, women are the holder of the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Especially look at, as you said, as you mentioned, look at the love of mother to the children. It's not equivalent to anything else on the earth. Nothing. I mean, you have seen that. And there are some jokes about men when there are men left with the children at home, what mess they make, and you know what they do, and the poor child is starving, and the man has eaten full and asleep, right? but but then you read about you give a woman, the mother, you have seen mother doesn't eat first, she doesn't even eat last sometimes because there is no time. And you know, you're all familiar. I don't think there is any objection except from Nasser. No. Okay, so what I was trying to say, the biggest energy in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is love. In my opinion, that phase that's the thing, is love. That's the which is goes hand in hand with the hadith. Allah says فَأَحْبَبْتُ أَنْ أُعْرَفَ, yani that was the love. When Allah فَأَحْبَبْتُ, yani when I love to, what can stop Allah from that? When he wants it, kun fayakun, that love becomes immediately the motor, the turbine jet of the creating the creation. And I can even take this matter into the level of saying, even when you go to the, you know that in gravity of, you know, the bigger the mass, the bigger the gravity, right? Even that is affected by the love in the material universe. We probably talk about it in a different session about this. So what all I'm trying to say is love started from the top, has come down to the lowest level, is everything is going by love. Look at look at birds, look at flowers, look at the trees, look at the plants. They're all living by love. How do they live by love? Look, masalan, you keep a plant here, and there is a sun coming this way but doesn't reach it. He's It is so much in love with the sun, it gradually curves itself, yeah, goes towards the light, to take the light of the sun. So now, being the birthday of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, and and also remembering that insan is kone jame, right? What was the kone jame? Collective existence. Insan being kone jame. Now let's look at this insan, Prophet. I want to take you to the uh, issue of Miraj, right? Look at this verse of Quran. It was very interesting. I noticed this a week ago. Surah Najm. It says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ban Najmu idha hawa. Najm means a star. Hawa means falling. And the Najm, when it's falling, so it's collapsing the star. And you know that, do you all know that how a black hole is made? Black hole is made when a star collapses, its energy finishes, and it implodes. You know, it's opposite of explode. When the energy of a star, because stars have got energy, they are generating in the core of the star. There is a nuclear fusion. That nuclear fusion is creating a lot of energy, and because it's being mass, that mass has got gravity too. So this nuclear and fusion creating energy always balances with the core of the gravity, so that the star is shining and we see it. It reaches a time when that energy, fusion energy, is lowered and lowered, and in the balance of gravity and energy, gravity becomes bigger. So what happens? It implodes, so it collapses, so it dies. Let's say a star dies, it becomes black hole, right? It's easy, right? This explanation is not technical. It's easy. Okay. Verse of Quran says with this, when Najm is a swearing, Allah is swearing by the star when it is falling. When it is falling, it's becoming black hole. What happens on the edge of the black hole? Do you know that? Black hole, the particularity and a specific thing about black hole is because it has become very massive, the mass has become too much, right? It has a great gravity. The gravity is there is very big. You know that it even absorbs all this other stars surrounding. Even if they say even light cannot escape from the black hole, right? What happens on the edge of the black hole or even inside the black hole? They say the time stops. You remember I spoke about time dilation? That was on a different matter. This time dilation is because of gravity. You go and look, there are stars 1.3 billion times of the sun size. Stars 250 billion times of sun size. Imagine such an star when it's collapsing and becoming mass, what gravity does it create? It's a huge gravity because its mass is an amazing mass. And there, time is stopped. And then listen to the rest of the Quran. مَا ذَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى. And your person did not become astray, did not go astray. And it's about Prophet. This is about the Mi'raj. Allah is saying, Prophet is not ignorant. What he's saying is right. وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى. He doesn't say from his desires. What he says is not from out of his desires. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَى. On whatever he says is from revelation. Prophet says whatever says is from revelation. ذُو مَرَّةٍ فَاسْتَوَى. And وَهُوَ بِالْأُفُقِ الْأَعْلَى. While he was in Ufuq A'la, in the high horizon. That's about when he went to Miraj. ثُمَّ دَنَا فَتَدَلَّى. Then he came closer and closer. You know that ثُمَّ دَنَا فَتَدَلَّى. When the Prophet goes to Miraj, he goes very close to God. فَكَانَ قَابَ قَوْسَيْنَ أَوْ أَدْنَى. Yani he became so close, the distance of two end of the two ends of an elbow. Is it called elbow? That come on? No, the arrow is this. What that is called elbow, I think. Yeah, come on, right? Correct. Okay, let me make it English. It's English translation. I can bring it. Arch. You're right. That's the one. Let me see. ثم دنا فتدلى. He was but two bows lengths or even nearer. Bows. It's called it bows, right? That come on is bows. So Prophet then as close as that level to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know that is where Jibreel said, I cannot come with you. Jibreel, they reached to a level, Jibreel said, if I come from here, I will be burned. He couldn't go further than that, getting closer to Allah. فَأَوْحَى إِلَىٰ عَبْدِهِ مَا أَوْحَى. So revealed to his worshipper, Gabriel, that which he revealed to Prophet Muhammad. So basically, what I was trying to use this to saying that Prophet, and you know that why I said I used this, why this caught my eyes, because we know Prophet has spoken 3-4 days, the conversation with God. But when Mi'raj finishes, it has only taken 2 seconds for his house. You know that thing is still swinging. So it is only a freezing of time that can happen. The time was frozen. And why Allah start this with the uh, uh, collapsing star which becomes black hole? There is a relationship. There is nothing. It's not coincidental that Allah takes this. So time dilation on a different subject, which is the subject of gravity, has happened also for Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And hopefully next week, maybe I I try. I explain this also, this Miraj on the issue of multiverses. You remember multiverse? parallel universes. Nasser, do you agree with me? With my explanation? You have every right. No, no, to that. No, I said this because tomorrow is the Prophet's birthday. Okay, so and basically, I kind of finished that topic. He said that with the love, everything was manifested and coming down and down and down. Okay, so inshallah, time. What time is it? 8:16. So we finish at here, and inshallah next week we will continue. If there's any question, please go ahead.